everyone, we do hope you're keeping well. Recently we managed to pay a visit to Avebury Stone Circle whilst we were down in that neck of the woods. It was about an hour and a half's detour back on the way home to West Yorkshire, so we thought it would be daft to pass up on the opportunity. Last time we were there, that was many years ago, our two lads were fairly young, so we couldn't give the place the attention we would have liked. This time, however, we had plenty of time for a leisurely ramble and the weather couldn't have been more perfect. Avebury Henge is an enormous stone circular earthwork that encloses the largest stone circle in the world. It has a high bank and deep ditch around one large and two small stone circles, along with two avenues of paired stones. History tells us that it has stood here for 4,500 years and was erected at the same time as the large stones at Stonehenge, which are the same type of local sandstone known as sarsen. Photographs give the impression that Stonehenge is quite a large stone circle, so when we first visited many years ago, we were rather surprised just how small it is. Here's a diagram taken from one of the National Trust's information boards that shows you the scale of Stonehenge against Avebury. The stone circle at Stonehenge is about 30 metres, that's 98 feet in diameter, whereas in comparison the outer ring of stones at Avebury are 331.5 metres, which equates to 1,088 feet in diameter. What history tells us doesn't always correspond to the information that is channeled through us, and that's fine. We don't have the evidence to back up our findings. We don't claim anything we receive is fact. All we ask is that you keep an open mind, and if it resonates with you, great. If not, that's absolutely fine too. We're not here to try and convert anyone. Of course, there's no record of why the stone circles were built at Avebury. The best guess is that the site was probably used for ceremonies and possibly religious gatherings. As the high bank was built on the outside of the ditch, it would suggest that it wasn't built for defence. However, to enclose such a large area in this way suggests that there is something rather special about this sacred place. We know that the sun played an important factor in the construction of Stonehenge. And whilst there's nothing to suggest anything similar at Avebury, the information at the site says that the sky was likely to be important here, and indeed Jonathan was given some rather intriguing information by his spirit guide Uther. So, without further ado, come along and join us and find out what we discovered along the way.
So here we are at Avebury. As I mentioned on my social media post, Uther the Dragon, my druid counterpart, said nice to be back amongst old friends. Hopefully he'll try and explain that as we walk around the stones. It's very busy, as you can imagine. We never actually realised it's the world's largest stone circle, is Avebury.
Of course, it's a Saturday.
And it's Saturday and it's a nice day, so
and it's Easter holidays.
We've got people,
Too many people,
and children climbing on the stones, and you have to really kind of make a concerted effort to not shout, you know, get off the stones, in that kind of an accent as well, whatever that was, I don't know. But here we are in a very important place, and this is interesting because we came with our kids, now lads of course, grown men, many years ago, and both myself, I think, and son Thomas had an experience about this particular place. You can see the stones behind us there, and I remember, and it came back to me in a flash, I picked up the word portal, and we were told that these two stones actually focus energy into a portal of some description, an entrance or exit. And we've got to open our minds up here a little bit, because we're going to start talking about things that most people would find outrageous and ludicrous, and can't prove it with science and all that nonsense. Get over it. But what we're talking about here is we're talking about these stones are a connection between this dimension and other dimensions. If we can kind of get that basic fundamental understanding of what stone circles represent, that is one of them, one of the main fundamental understandings of what these things do. So somewhere, I don't know just yet, we're going to walk around here, but it's a huge site, by the way. We're going to try and get to West Kennet Longbarrow. We might try and get to Silbury Hill while we're here, but it is very much picking up like a jigsaw puzzle, We've been over the road to the other side, which you come out of the National Trust car park into that area more or less, which is behind the shop and the tea room and everything. And I've already picked up some information there. First thing I picked up was everything here is aligned to stars, to the cosmos, is aligned to a certain star or star system, and that these stones are active and they are transmitting and receiving very much like radar or radio. So bear those things in mind, folks, those fundamental things in mind. And while the people wander around with the dogs and allowing the children to throw ice cream at them, and actually the druids in the stones might not find that a bad idea. Might be a bit refreshing after about 12,000 years.
Well, it is warm.
And there's a little clue to what we're going to be talking about. So one thing we've got to consider about Avebury is the faces in the stones. Okay, there's a stone behind us. Chap's been kind of meditating, sitting against it. We've not had a chance to have a chat with him, but there is a very clear and distinct face or head shape in that stone, and we will put up a photograph if you can't see it well enough from this angle. We will put up a photograph and hopefully point things out. But actually, when you look at it, it's very Egyptian-like. Perhaps explain that more when you look at the shape of the Sphinx, the head, which was, many believe now, was added on at a later date. That wasn't the original head of the Sphinx, it was a lion's head, because it was in connection with Leo. Bearing in mind, again, these are cosmic alignments. Okay, so now folks, this is the stone that I mentioned to everybody. If you look at the shape of the top of this stone from this point here, if you look at the top part where this natural crack is in the stone, you'll begin to see almost like a head shape. And if you imagine the headdresses that the Egyptians wore, well, we've got something kind of similar going on here. This could also be a druid hood as well. So when we're kind of moving over to this point here, you'll see that then we begin to form a nose, okay, and then a chin and a mouth. So you'll see, and at some point it looks like the old-fashioned medieval helmet as well, with the eye there. So if you hopefully see that, if not, don't worry. It can also be called what's called pareidolia. So we see other things in plain sight objects as well. So bear that one in mind as well. Could be pareidolia, but it may also be the spirit of the druid within this stone. So here we are at the famous talking trees, the 4 birches at Avebury. These trees, it's said, inspired Tolkien to write Lord of the Rings. We don't know exactly the ins and outs of that. We'll have to look that up. We read it a long time ago. So now being in our early 30s as opposed to early 20s, we might need to just revise that one, you know, for the next exam. But the root system is incredible. If you come and visit this place, the roots are just amazing. All the roots are exposed, and there are even little knobbles on the trees that look like little goblins and gnomes, and it is very Tolkien-like, let's say. So yes, so you might be able to see some just peeking over to my right or left. I can't work it out.
It's that way. Look
it's
up
actually
there.
my right. Yeah, but who knows in the magical world of technology. So yeah, definitely worth a visit. Don't miss the trees if you come to Avebury.
Beautiful.
So there's one thing I'd just like to mention is we're on top of one of the henges now, Avebury, and you can see the scale of this place. If we just pan round a little bit over to the stones in the distance, you can see the scale of and the depth of the henge, the depth of the ditch separating the two areas, and it truly is a magnificent sight, and the scale of it is quite intense. So we're going to continue our journey on now towards the next set of stones, and then hopefully make our way to West Kennet Long Barrow. Might even get a cup of tea. So here's a wonderful viewpoint of the village of Avebury and the stones in relation to the village itself. Obviously the village would have grown up much longer after the stones were placed. But usually all stone circles have an entrance, and you can see there just to the left people look to be sitting down having a picnic and having a lovely afternoon by what I would say is an entrance point, two stones marking the entrance, and then there's you'll see into the distance just before the little chapel there that there's like a very smaller group of stones. Now my personal feeling as I'm looking at that now is that those are much more recent than the stones that you see towards the entrance. So we'll go and have a little investigation and do some energy work on that now. So now we're standing outside the entrance of that circle that we mentioned while we stood on the henge, and we've got these two huge stones, almost like entrance pillars really. If we look to the entrance pillar to the left, and duly pointed out that there's a head-like structure at the top. Now I feel as though it looks very bird-like actually. You can actually see the eye, almost like a nostril as well, and the beak of the bird, almost like hawk, very much hawk-like. And Anne did point out again that when Uther introduced himself to me, he introduced himself to me from out of a stone. And I think we'll sing a chorus of Erica. And in that stone, it's very much appears to be as if like there is a figure coming out of it. If you can see in the centre of the stone itself, it's fascinating. So here we are at what's called the Avenue of Avebury, which you can see stretching out kind of right over there into the distance. That goes towards the main stone circles of Avebury. So yes, we're on the Avenue now, and as you can see, it's a lovely day. Some of these stones here are quite incredible. There's one just behind us that from a distance looks like a hooded, Anne calls him a gnome, I call him a druid. It's the very furthest one to us there. You can see his hood and his nose sticking out from underneath his hood. There's also a shark stone, which we're actually stood right next to now, and you might be able to see the shark stone. Looks a little bit like he's pointing his nose upwards. And so yeah, well, Uther kind of informed me that the West Kennet Long Barrow and Avebury are connected. He said that the circle we visited, where the two big stones, we may have mentioned this already, is the actual representation of the centre of the cosmos there. And everything around that, around Avebury and the stones, is a representation of the cosmos itself. So we mentioned right at the beginning the star alignments. You'll find that there are alignments to stars in all the stone circles. That was very prevalent at Arbelow. And but the West Kennet Long Barrow is the birth, is the creation. It's not a tomb, it's a creation of the universe, the cosmos, and this has all come out of that creation from the West Kennet Long Barrow. So it's time to wander back now to the car, sadly. As ever with these wonderful sites, we never have enough time, it seems, to do the things that we want to do. But then again, this is the world's largest stone circle, so it's going to take days, if not weeks. Just to point the background shot out there, there's a very famous scene from a 1970s kids programme called Children of the Stones, which was filmed in Avebury, and that was one of the I feel one of the main shots, perhaps on the credits or in the programme itself. It was all scary, it was all a bit weird, a bit like us really, but other than that, it's time to say bye-bye to Avebury just for now. We're going to try to get to West Kennet Long Barrow if we can, but we're very much aware of time and perhaps getting back up the road. So we'll say bye-bye from Avebury for now.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time where we pay a brief visit to the sanctuary, catch a glimpse of Silbury Hill before exploring West Kennet Long Barrow. Hopefully you can join us then. If you could spare a moment to give this video a thumbs up, to drop us a comment and to subscribe, that'd be really appreciated. Thanks very much. Bye now.